Okay.
We're talking about the 3 components.
Yeah, so actually I broke the recording there and I started a new one there. So thank you for modularizing this for us. You know what that was, the disconnection? It was provide a natural breakpoint. So anyways, yeah. And I was saying that plasmas, for example, these components you're already familiar with from the summer. Plasmas, we already have like a sort of working archetype, prototype. Plasmas is an archetype. It's a working prototype for play SMS-based SMS thing, and then PPX, which provides like the switching for the whole thing.
Can you call it SMS piggyback? Is that what Plasmas is actually the
piggyback?
It's
well, whatever functionality it is, it's the text messaging part that we're actually going to try, because remember, this is based on XMPP, which is very convenient because right now it's based on ProCity, but there's a fork that's working on it OpenFire based, right? So the thing is that right now none of these parts are tied together by A2 billing or any other sort of billing unification of billing between these 3 components.
Wait, but you're assuming it's going to be priced on variable usage, right?
Well, it doesn't matter because there's no billing unification between them. Whatever module, whether it's hot rate, whatever, it has to have unified billing. Otherwise, you're going to be billing for like all sorts of different things that are not. It's like you're going to have to be billing.
Billing is charged. Billing also sort of authenticates.
Yeah, and this is why I'm thinking actually OwnCloud, for example, OwnCloud supports, for example, now this actually is the overarching container for the whole thing, and it supports LDAP authentication, which is good because it will unify it's like a unify our identity.
OPMP? What's it?
No, LDAP. The directory protocol, LDAP. And
LDAP.
Yeah.
LDAP.
Yeah. So because OwnCloud already supports the box LDAP, that it's very convenient, for example, because all of our servers right now we're setting up identities manually, which is not very not very secure, and it's not replicatable, or what do you call it, scalable. When based on LDAP, then all the servers will have unified federated identity, hopefully, and single sign-on. Because remember, single sign-on actually is more secure, even though it doesn't look like it at the surface. It's more secure to use a federated single sign-on identity than it is to use regular logins. Because first of all, you use passwords a little. It's already a weak authentication, and that was actually on with what's that guy's name, Kevin O'Leary and the man in Lang last night. They were talking about like 3 or 4 in the morning. They have his show, and they're talking about the sort of things in North Korea and all this.
Why mean like 4chan keep anonymous?
I don't know. I don't know what it is that you refer to. I'm saying that in concept, a federated identity and a single sign-on, because remember, single sign-on is by nature a challenge response system. And so if you use a well-known authentication provider, for example, in this case, Facebook or what's it called? Well, yeah, but the thing is that I don't want to get into that, because remember, then it's like you're dependent on another complication over here that's regulated, and that's a very difficult thing to penetrate.
Well, okay, Google, let's say.
Yeah, actually, Google has remember, is beginning that migration to was it OAuth 2.0, and their OpenID is no longer really going to be supported, or is that Facebook I'm talking about? Anyways, the point is to use an open protocol for authentication that's federated and single sign-on. I should be written down, but hang on, I'm still getting the laundry thing. I need to get something to make. Can you give your thoughts on it and your reactions and input and sort of or not?
I don't think I'll have
any questions?
Oh, so what do you think about last time? Do you think it's sufficient implementation of a single sign-on?
What do you think about?
Is this still a crush? Last pass, is that a...
Oh, here's the thing. Remember, I'm not talking about specifics here. I'm talking concept and open protocol-based thing. So
concept is a good implementation.
What?
Or is it still a crush?
No, because... No, I think they're proprietary, right? In any case, what I'm talking about is like using OAuth 2.0, for example. Like use OAuth 2.0, for example, as a transport for the authentication and the federated identity. So in other words, to use an open protocol, an open authentication federated identity, LastPass, I believe, is proprietary, right?
Open authentication protocol.
But rather, in other words, I'm not talking about a single instance or a specific instance. I'm talking about sort of like a transport layer, not transport layer thing, but the abstraction of the federated identity in a single sign-on. It doesn't matter what it is, kind of. But I'm thinking at this point we'll ride that wave of like OAuth 2.0. Or we're actually dependent right now. So the rapid development thing, rapid deployment thing, we're dependent on whatever own cloud supports already. Right?
Ron, are you a chain smoker?
Right now I am. It's a JSTOR.
Yeah,
What is this? Oh, wait, remember recording stuff. So anyways, I was saying that the dependent on what cloud supports, and also it will ride along with whatever the standards sort of move towards. So the specifics of it, like LastPass or Facebook or Google, it doesn't actually matter. It's like the layer that's on the OAuth 2.0 or OpenID. Now overall, I've sort of started making a list of the competencies that we need, and so we can sort of assess where the competencies are and what our situation is. For example, the DevOps of the yeah.
Hold on. I had this kind of.
Okay, why are you
this small account?
Just hold on. So we're not talking about. Okay. Just wait though. We're talking conceptually here, so we can talk about it in wall one. Find another wall. But the competencies, for example, that we'll need to start looking at is DevOps. What are our taking an inventory of these things? The DevOps is the architecting of the server design and the sysadmin of it, which is the nitty-gritty sort of day sysadmin of it, and succession planning of it, which has to do with the architecting, but it's a long-term strategic thing. So I call it Web 3, or in other words, social web based competencies as they develop, and then mobile, for example, because Android and iOS in terms of Cordova, Android of course in terms of Java competencies, and Objective-C, I believe, right? So I think that in terms of getting an inventory of where our competencies are right now and where we have to beef them up, and keeping a small sort of limited work team so that we don't have to keep extending. And also remember that the advantage is that if one of us we have to be able to operate semi-autonomously. In other words, recognize where we are and keep going. Because remember, part of this rapid deployment depends on this JSTOR thing where I can keep, say, thousands of variables in my head, and then I do a whole piece in, say, 8 hours or something like this. And hang on a second. Let's just see what that was. I'm going to move it. That was your Samsung, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's my message.
Okay. Let's see. Hang on a second. I have to catch my breath here. I'm going to try to do this. Actually, what's it? Oh yeah, I have to. I really like working on now. Oh wait a minute. Ah. right?
You know how to play the piano.
Before when? Before when? Oh yeah, yeah, before when? Because like you knew like the summer. Oh yeah, summer is when you. Yeah, because I didn't have one for 20 years. Remember? It was weird. Okay, this is the one for like working on. Like. Yeah, so it looks like the favorite part of the whole thing. It's a climax thing, right? Okay. Oopsie. Okay. So we go.
Oh, hey, just see the Facebook thing and show you.
No, because I don't have the same window open. You can see when I upload the screencast of this that how this has been recorded. But yeah. Anyways, so far we have a working Cloud59's. I don't yet right now have a working IPv6 anymore. That's today's task, and just see that working. Once the IPv6 is installed and functioning again, then this switch to SIP or DASI in other words. That'll be tonight probably. Then we'll have the Street Performance working again. OwnCloud. So this is where we can do the divide and conquer in the future. So there'll be a repository of, for example, the web assets. So for example, logos and stuff. And we'll open the same thing, so that link, and that if we change like a web asset, then it'll change everywhere. That way we can divide and conquer. And you can recognize at what point that we are and know where we're heading, and you don't kind of need to look at fine-grained sort of implementation things to know what to do next, what needs to be worked on. You know what I mean, right? This is the advantage of having a small...
Like having a street to the map.
Yeah, not having to have a street-based map, or like how Toronto is like grid-based, so it's like if I tell you to go here and it's northeast of here, then it doesn't matter what buses you just take one that goes east and one goes north, and one goes east, it's a couple of them, as long as you get there, right? And this is where it's kind of like too bad that we're not all JSTAR-based. And this is why I was looking for partners in the JSTAR community, because there are a couple of us that sort of do that sort of submerge for like a week thing. Actually,
yeah, there are people without JSTAR can do that, I'm sure.
No. No, not. It's physically impossible. Yes, I'm sure. Impossible.
Or normative. I think you're being normative.
I'm being descriptive. You can try to find out, and then we'll do the last to market.
Yeah, what's the black liquid? Is that Chinese mushroom soup?
It's grape tang.
Grape tang.
Grape tang.
What's tang?
Okay.
Oh, okay, tang. It's like powdered juice.
It's like Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid, yeah.
I showed you because I was pouring it into the thing earlier. It says verser le contenu de sachet dans le récipient plastique ou un verre. Ajoutez 3 tasses. Ajoutez 3 tasses d'eau froide. Bien remuer ou ajouter et voilà. Tang après la serrure. Gardez couvert au réfrigérateur. Whatever. Anyways, there are two packets left. Right. Yeah, the train station clock thing going. Yeah, that's what I got. Personal space if I do this with the blank corkboard.
Rondo, I mean, with this being an enterprise venture, I found
you can do this, but we have to short circuit this because it's physically impossible otherwise.
The core surface? You say?
Do it for phase 2. Remember, the whole thing is premise star and doing the impossible and beating Skype out there. I'm not trying to remember rapid deployment first because we need to make it first to market, and we need to do the physically impossible first.
Oh, and then you can globalize.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point you have to how do you say?
Use the real world. No, then it's impossible. We'll never win. Remember, also, the real world is not trying to do this for a social justice cause. We have to get out there first because you have to be a price setter.
The price is going to be set really high. Hey, what was that for? What do you mean by price setters?
So here we'll break again, so that everybody can catch up